Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to the September 5th, 2024 Police and Public Safety Committee meeting. I'm going to begin the meeting by taking attendance. Councilmember Brennan is here. I am here. Deputy Chief Joe Twitty is here. Town Clerk Michelle Martinelli is here. Town Attorney Finney is here. Chief Venna from District 1. This is his first meeting. Welcome. Congratulations on being made chief. Some other attendees we have some residents. We have Joseph Yeakel here, Michael Klett here, and we have Frank Basile from our comptroller's office as well. Did I miss anybody? Okay, we are not going to ask for a motion for the minutes. We're going to table those. Yep.
Unadopted, you don't have to.
Unadopted? Okay. Okay. All right, beginning under operations. This is still ongoing, the towing request for proposal for 2024. It's on the list of priorities that we're still working on. We'll have more information when it comes. Under fleet and equipment, we have a surplus of equipment, firearms. So we are beginning to transition from our previous generation of sidearms. We had some money in our budget this year to begin that process, and we're going to budget further next year to continue that process. As part of the surplus, it's going to be turned into the vendor who is then selling us the new weapon as a credit. So it is on our inventory list that we have for the town. So that's part of the reason that we're going to do a resolution to surplus that the track process. And I can get you all those. I believe it's internal. I'll get you all of the, yes, all the serial numbers, makes, models, and everything. Just putting down there, we spoke about this previously, the outfitting for the new administrative vehicle. We've ordered that. That's on its way. The outfitting is within the purchase policy limits. It's approximately $5,040 is what the total cost is going to cost. And it's going to be done by Auto Solutions. So I'm just putting it on there that we're doing that as well. I didn't have anything under building. Under training, excuse me for a minute. Our department members are going to be taking some rifle training September 19th at our range. This is a training certification that we're trying to get for all of our department members. The administration and our sergeants will be attending the DCGS Symposium September 17th through 19th. We've been trying to do this every year. This is the third time, Joe, we've done this? Yes. Correct? This is a higher level of training for leadership. There's a lot of good courses that you get to select from and go to. So we kind of split up in pairs and try to get some leadership and management training, keep up to date on any legal updates, things of that nature. So it's great that DCGS puts this on. It was kind of paused during COVID, and it's back, and we're looking forward to attending that. Sergeant Party and Sergeant Morrow are going to be instructing use of force at the Zone 5 Academy, September 10th and 11th. The goal is to cross-train Sergeant Morrow for instruction purposes, so he can also teach it. Traditionally, Sergeant Party was the one that taught it, but we're trying to get Sergeant Morrow brought on board as well. Officer Powell will be attending defensive tactics instructor course at the Zone 5 Academy, September 23rd through October 8th. This is great for us because we've traditionally only always had one defensive tactics instructor, and we're trying to build out a program with multiple instructors so that we can save some money and some overtime, get some more people, some more advanced instructor training that are interested in being a part of that program. I didn't have any ongoing citizen correspondence. I was asked by Councilman McPartland to speak about Consall Road. So we went out and ran another analysis on Consall Road. It was from August 28th through 9th, the 3rd of September. The average speed at the location was between Oakmont and Taurus. Because traditionally, if we have higher speeds, it's in that location because it's more of a straightaway. The average speed during that time frame was 33 miles an hour, with the 85th percentile being 39 miles an hour. And there were 36,342 vehicles that were analyzed during that time frame. Just as a comment to that, I went back and I looked at Consall Road. So far, year to date, we've done 35 traffic engagements on Consall Road. We've written a total of 84 tickets on Consall Road year to date. And from a crash perspective, there's only been 4 total crashes for 2024. And just to give folks a perspective, we generally average somewhere in the vicinity of 600 to 700 crashes per year in the town of Muskegon. Thereabouts, it fluctuates. And so when we're talking about engagement, we're talking about analysis, we really try to be data driven because of the limited resources we have. We have prioritized Council Road as one of our traffic engagement locations for our traffic engagement division. And then just a final note on it, that we're going to continue to analyze it and prioritize it as part of our traffic schedule. But overall, our traffic summons are up 130% year to date from 2024. So I don't know if anybody has any comments or questions about that.
Okay. Is this open to the public now?
Yeah, if you like,
Oh, okay.
go ahead.
I'm asking how you came across with your assessment of how fast people are going down Council Road. How did you do that?
We purchased $4,000 in technologies last year. And it's a box that can tell you even the size of the vehicle going down the road. And it gives you timeframes, analysis, and prints you out with sheet.
What about December 23 when you put that box out in front of my house? What were the recordings on that?
I don't have that with me. I can get that information.
I've been told that a lot, Chief, but nobody ever gets back to me with the information.
Been told that by who?
You.
You and I never had that conversation. That's not true.
We had the conversation the last time I was here. I asked you for.
Okay, I'll get you the information. I don't recall that. You and I never had that conversation. Okay.
Then if you don't recall it, how can you say you never had it?
Because I would have gotten it to you because that's what I did.
Oh, okay.
You have anything else you'd like to say?
Why do you not want to stop the speeding on Council Road?
I don't understand the question. I just told you all the traffic communication that we've done.
It's not working, Chief.
And you've been explained multiple times, Mr. Clark, that this is a bigger conversation than policing. And you know that because we've had those conversations.
Are you going to plant a tree in the middle of Council Road to slow people down?
I don't plant trees in this, so no.
Okay. What is your other to slow people down on Council Road?
I've spoken to county legislators. I've spoken to our town planner. And you and I have both agreed that the design of the road is problematic and is contributing to what you're perceiving is going on.
Right.
I don't have control over those things. All I have control over is attempting to get folks out there to be motivated to engage traffic. The other points of conversation that you and I have had need to be directed to those individuals.
What individuals?
Town planner, county legislators.
I've talked to the county legislators. They sent me a nice little letter saying that the town board has the right to put out signs and to maintain motor vehicle laws, rules, and regulations.
Sure.
Okay. Why don't you want to? I guess I'm going to get into, Chief, I really like you. You're doing a great job with the personnel. You can talk to a policeman now and he treats you like a human being, which is great. What I'm trying to get at is when you say you don't understand the question, I've talked to you before about trying to slow down the traffic on Council Road. I said to you, why don't you go on airways and say, on Council Road, the speed limit is 30 miles an hour and be strictly enforced. And you said something like, I don't think we can do that. Now, I've talked to Colony policemen, I've talked to Schenectady policemen, and I've talked to Guilderland policemen, all kind of like which revolves around Niskayuna. Colony are starting up a program which they will patrol the roads, especially the critical roads, 25 miles an hour, anything over, you're going to get a ticket. Now, their chief said that on channel
25 miles an hour?
25 miles an hour. Everybody,
What's the speed limit there?
25 miles an hour. All the areas around us are going to go to 25 miles an hour. Schenectady is, Colony is, Saratoga is
Tell me why. Do you know why?
to slow the traffic
But
down.
do you know how they're empowered to do that?
Yeah, you give out tickets.
No. We've talked about this before. The town in this unit is too small. Population size, based on the legislation that came out, to unilaterally change the speed. That's been explained to you. It's been explained to you. I don't change speed limits. Legislators create legislation. They empower municipalities to do things based on legislation. We don't have that authority.
I told Pucciani how to do it. I was told by 3 legislators how to do it so you people can change the.
But I'm not a town board member. I don't do that.
Well, why don't you make a suggestion to the town board, adopt what our neighbors are doing?
The town is not empowered based on my understanding of the legislation because of our population size. We can't unilaterally do that. We went through this before, Mr. Powell.
Yes, you can. All you have to do is go to the legislators. It costs money to do this. Now, maybe you can tell me why Schenectady is doing it, why Colony's doing it.
They meet the
Why
requirements. They meet the requirements of the legislation. I explained that to you.
Okay. Now I told her, you have to spend money, you have to go to the town, the state, and explain to them why you think it's a good idea. And it costs money to do that. Now, why did Schenectady, just down the road, 1/8 of a mile from Console Road in Balltown, put up a nice sign? Speed limit, 25 miles an hour will be strictly enforced. Why can't you put a sign at the beginning of Console Road and at the end of Console Road? 20 or 30 miles an hour will be strictly enforced.
You can ask the county if they can do that.
It's not the county's position to do it.
County puts signs up on county roads.
Didn't you just hear what I said to you?
I did, sir.
That the town has the right to put out signs and enforce the law. Now, the county legislator is wrong.
They're not wrong. I don't know what they said to you. I wasn't there, but what I'm explaining to you is, for instance, we had someone recently call us about River Road. They called us about the deer traffic crossing River Road, which is a county road. County road. Councilmember Brennan contacted the county legislators and they had signage put up on their road.
Okay.
It's a county road.
You can do it. I didn't bring the paper with me because I gave it to Pucciani. I got a copy of it home. Now, he's the county legislator and the secretary of the county and something else. Now, why would he send me a thing saying that the town has the right to put out signs and to enforce the laws and rules of the motor vehicle department?
I'm not against people. I'm just telling you this is the process that we know and that we abide by. We
Then
can contact the
don't
county.
you think it's time to change your process? Why are you trying to blame the county for a road that's in your district?
I'm not blaming anyone. What I just read to you was the fact that the average speed was 33 miles an hour on your road.
I want to know where you got that. And like I said,
We can't do this. I just.
then why do you? I told you before, I'm tired of coming here, and this is not my first time trying to get your attention on what's going on. Would you say it's like maybe the 5th, 6th?
Can I just, for 1 second? Writing tickets and policing, I'm going to explain this to you. It's based on data that you analyze and take in. 4 total crashes on your road, which is a pretty heavily trafficked road, is an incredibly small amount based on the totality of the crashes in all of Michigan, including some pretty severe crashes. And what I've explained to you in the past is, with the resources we have to prioritize. That's how you do this. I've explained that to you. We have been on your road. I just explained that we've had 35 traffic engagements to date on Console Road. And then we've written tickets on Console Road. And it has a low crash rate overall in comparison. So we have listened to you. We have deployed resources. But what I'm saying to you now, it's like a broken record. I can't fix where your house is located on Console Road in conjunction with proximity. We've talked about that. And we both agreed that the dynamics of the roadway, because you even told me, they paved it further and they paved it further. I don't have control over those things. We need infrastructure changes with street diets, as our town planner has explained openly. to really change that from your perspective. I don't control those things. I only control what I explain to you, and we're doing the work.
Okay. And I don't think you're doing a good job.
You're entitled to your opinion.
And the reason why is I've asked to have a policeman put across the street, get traffic both ways. Now, when you were a patrolman twice, and as a sergeant, you said to me, and I know you're not going to remember this, but I do because it happened to me, that, boy, you live on a dangerous road. The first time. The second time was, boy, people come speeding around this corner, don't they? And the third time as a sergeant, you said something like, this really needs to be fixed.
I think you're confusing me for someone else because I didn't say those things, but I'm not.
Chief, are you calling me a liar?
I'm not. I'm just telling you.
Do I have to do what your supervisor did?
Mr. Clark, stop. Please stop. We're not going to hijack the meeting to have a debate about Pennsylvania. If you want to speak about further, we can. But we're not going to do this. I'm not going to go tit for tat. We're analyzing it. Average speed 33 miles an hour is within reason.
No, it's not. The law states.
Chief, would you mind if I took that data and brought it, like I did for the deer signs, brought it to our county legislators and kind of see if
We're having a
they're,
conversation.
yeah.
But in my conversations with them, they believe also,
Yeah.
including their engineers, that the road's acting appropriately. So I don't know what else to say.
Mr. Cook's so frustrated, I think, I don't mind also.
We can,
Would I be able to ask a question only because peripherally I'm interested in some of the information? So you had mentioned that you have some new equipment. I really wanted to talk about that with Matt, but before I do talk about Roman, just in terms of the data that you collect, I had a couple of questions. Well, I know you said that records the average speed. It will, record volume numbers. Will it also give you top speeds for vehicles, and also will it give you traffic volumes based on a time parameter? Say, like if you set this between 8 and 9 a.m., it'll tell you.
sure.
So
There'll be a prioritization of traffic. That's why we purchased it.
yeah,
To give us a better handle on not just, well, it's always speeding. It's like, well, not every road is always speeding. What's a more definitive time frame that we can break down to prioritize that?
yeah. So when I talk, I did want to talk about Roman because Roman Ave, where I live, we're a cut between St. David's and Route 7, and it's turned into a racetrack, but it's not a racetrack all day long. And now in the last 5 to 7 years, we have a lot more children in the neighborhood and some elderly people walking dogs. So I was interested in either getting the radar speed sign or else the traffic count or something like that. And my interest would be to have you take a look at that and run it over however long you do it, 1 to 2 weeks, and then pinpoint some specific times of the day, like the morning traffic between say 6:30 and 8 o'clock, because that's when we have people driving down our street 45, 55 miles an hour. Some of them are going really fast. It's not so fast at 10 o'clock because people are out working and people are doing, but then you get the noontime traffic, you get the late afternoon. So my interest for my street and my neighborhood is to try and do something about the traffic volume and then the traffic speed. So the average, as you know, over 10,000 units may show something relatively low, but within a 1 to 2 hour time period, you may see the average go from 33 to 43 or 47. So that, and then you can address that by saying, you know what, we know that we're historically getting traffic volume here that's ramped up. So we're going to drop the patrol car. And I talked to Officer Robinson before. I said, if you want to park the car in my driveway, go ahead and do it because I'm right at the corner. And, I wouldn't mind if you did something like that. But my point is, you may see this ebb and flow throughout the day. And so I hear what he's saying.
Your point. So just so you understand how far we're trying to be data driven, we're going to talk about it later. We applied for $196,000 law enforcement technology grant. One of the LPR license plate reader systems that we're looking at, that's going to be a mobile unit that we're going to purchase 3 of them to attach to trailers, can capture, I've been told, can capture the plate and LiDAR at the same time, not to enforce, but to identify who the car is during that time frame based on what you're specifically saying.
Yeah.
That's how much we're looking into these things.
Yeah.
Because we realize we don't have enough police officers to put one on every single street corner, and we want to be able to get if there is a finite amount of people to identify them, to even if we send a letter going, hey, you were caught speeding, here's a picture of your car, like, you're on our radar now,
Yeah.
you know, kind of a conversation. So we're going to that lengths to really be analyzing those things, like you said.
Yeah, so, and I know that you have limited resources, but part of my reason for coming to, because I wanted to bring up Roman Ave. Roman and Morgan are the two closest roads between St. David's and Route 7. And I'm right at the corner of Roman and Stonebridge, which is right by Bellevue Hospital. So there's a lot of traffic, people coming over Route 7 from Schenectady or Latham, shooting across my street to hit St. David's and going either way. And same thing in the opposite direction. So I know that there was a speed strip put in once, but it was on Stuyvesant, the little interconnecting street between Morgan and Roman, which,
Just like a rubber hose that collects data.
Yes.
That wasn't us.
okay.
Yeah, no,
So,
we don't have that technology. I wish we had that technology.
Okay.
Yeah.
so that happened a couple of years ago. We did request the town look at our street for putting a stop sign in, but we were told that we couldn't get one because I live on the corner of a dead end street. So I don't know, and I didn't dig into the traffic safety rules, but I accepted what was said. But I do know my neighbor, the Conklins, which just lived 2 doors up, said that they called your office. I don't know if they spoke to you personally in the last week about, speeding on the road also. And my neighbors across the street are elderly, and I know they've said they've talked to the town numerous times. So for me, it is a growing problem. I've lived on Roman for over 20 years now, and I've seen our residents change. It was more elderly people at one time, but there's now younger families that are moving in, and there's a lot more children, kids on the bikes, on the scooters, and things like that. And, when I'm walking with my wife, if somebody's coming down the road, sometimes I'll do this to them, people flip you off, they give you the bird. Some of them are very good and some will slow down, but you see a lot of people that are just, they're just gunning it, and that's it. And that's what I call it. I think it's a racetrack at times, not all day long,
Sure.
not every single day. But now that the kids are back at school again, the school buses are there, and parents that were home for the summer are now going back to work again. So, you're gonna see the traffic volume increasing in the 6 to 8, probably 11 to 1, and 4 to 6 time,
So I will make it a point to make sure we get an analysis on it.
Okay,
And we'll see what it looks like.
yeah,
You know, but it's, again, we're trying to be very data driven, crash data driven, speed data driven based on these concerns that come in, because this is why we created traffic Edge, because we're trying to do more outreach specifically to different locations the best we can. One of the things that I had talked about in the past, because let's call it what it is, none of us are traffic engineers in this room, right?
Mhm.
We've talked about, and I mentioned it to our town planner, Laura Robinson, about trying to fund, even on an as-needed basis, to be able to do something with an actual engineer, a traffic engineer. I mean, the county has one, the city of Schenectady has one. Glendale, I know, because I spoke to their chief, they have one that's sort of on retainer that they use for different things, to really get that independent study of what's going on in this road. And we do the analysis, we say this is what it is, but then we have to bring in all the other parties to have that further engineering conversation about, is it a road diet that needs to be, a street diet that needs to be done? Is it strictly that we need to prioritize enforcement during these times? What is it? And kind of bring everything at the table to talk about it. So.
No, I hear you, and I don't have an engineering problem on my street. It's basically 2 long blocks. It's a great shortcut for people.
And it's a
Yeah.
straight shot.
And it's a straight shot, so, and there's no stop sign, so once you turn the corner in either direction, you got it till you get to the end.
Well, I'll make sure that they get the traffic camera up on the scene.
Okay, that would be really good. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Moving on, citizen correspondence. Mr. Powers reached out to us. He thanks Sergeant Mara and Officer O'Brien for their professionalism and effectiveness during a recent call for service. It was really nice to hear those kind of words from Mr. Powers, so thank you. William Clark from Price Chopper / Market 32 thanked Officers Spataro and Officer Thomason for their professionalism and hard work during some recent theft calls for service. Again, anytime you have any sort of criticism, positive or negative, we're open to hearing those things. Under town events, Coffee with a Cop. It's the 3rd Tuesday monthly that I go down and meet with all the seniors. Please come down and join us if you're available. It's a great time having those conversations. Niskuna Farmers Market is still ongoing. We are going to have 2 separate Coffee with a Cop events there. on the 7th of September and the 21st of September. Sergeant Relation will be there. Also under town events, the Carrot Festival is the 15th of this month at Aguda Akeem. It's a great time to come out. We thank the auxiliary police department for coming out and supporting us and helping us with that as well. Under town clerk, I left on dog permitting process. Elena, do you want to speak to that at all?
The discussion was whether or not.
The
we
dog
could-
park permitting
Yeah,
process?
limit, and I had, do some research on that. Essentially what the research is saying is that there has to be some legitimate basis for limiting it just to residents and, saying that non-residents are no longer able to come for equal protection under the Constitution purposes. And we talked about, you know, I don't know what the issue, this is the issue, but it was my understanding that the issue is more or less the ability to handle the number of dogs that are coming to the dog park currently. So if that's an issue, if that's the reason for it, then certainly, you know, there's a legitimate governmental interest and public interest that we would be looking to achieve by limiting it. So, I mean, in my opinion, you probably could move forward with it, but I think that, you know, we need to have some further discussions as to whether or not we're limiting the number total that are issued per year, or, you know, what we're looking.
Right
to
now,
do.
we have 112 Niskuna dogs,
Oh,
So that's
licensed.
a lot.
That's a lot of dogs.
is that
Is that the number
specifically
of
for the park?
non-residents or
Is
no?
that specifically for the park? I'm sorry, is that
Park.
specifically for the park?
Yes.
Okay, that's why I see all those cars around. As I described.
So there's a separate, have a dog in this. So
You have to
license.
license
You're gonna have your dog. There's a permit to use them.
That went up significantly, didn't it?
Yes.
Okay.
So I think we have to have some more internal discussions on that, but definitely we can look into
And also
amending the code.
looking into, like if there's issues with a non-resident dog, how do we have the right to have our dog, or go into Schenectady or into wherever? And-
If it arises out of this.
Okay. Because we've had some issues where, we know the dog's, his temper is done based on what they gave us for the Schenectady license. And we tried to call them and they just ignored our calls and never came back to us with the fact that, yes, the distemper was renewed. So that's some things that we're concerned about.
I think we can all agree to the fact that there's significantly more animal control issues
And as I guess-
than we've ever done.
And I asked the chief to add it to the agenda because, I mean, I'm now handling more dog cases in Niskuna Town Court than I am building and code violations. So we've had an extremely high increase in
Everybody,
all sorts of dog issues, not just bites, but there's been an increase in bites, there's been an increase in like unleashed dogs and other violations.
and I'm sure folks saw in the past year, all the different articles or news reports about, the humane societies being overrun with animals, and it's because during COVID, everybody got a pet, right? And what has happened now is it just spiked so suddenly, but everybody's home to deal with them, and now they're not necessarily home and they're commuting, and maybe they don't want the pet or whatever the case is, and now we're dealing with a massive amount of animal control issues that I believe are directly related to that. I don't have any evidence of that, but I'm telling you, that's what I believe is going on.
And
So,
we've had 2 dogs picked up this week by one of our officers and brought to the animal shelter. One got picked up, one still hasn't been picked up.
We're using Montgomery County for that?
No.
Or you get that?
that's it. Cat isn't home for it. And then the other thing is just the peddling and soliciting. I spoke about it last meeting briefly until Town Attorney Finnegan was here to touch on it more broadly. There is, and I hate to use the word loophole, but there is a loophole in the town code language with regards to applying for this permit and getting a background check done and the costs of those things associated with it if you are a non-for-profit that is either located in the town or conjoining to our county.
Right,
Is
so
that
there's
accurate?
more flex rules and regulations if you're a not-for-profit and you are in our town or an adjoining town. So we internally feel that as if we have anybody going door to door potentially soliciting, that we should be requiring background checks and making the rules more strict and stringent for the residents. So
And
we've come to
yeah.
a consensus that we're looking to amend that code.
And yeah, and for full transparency purposes, we've had non-for-profit organizations that have satellite offices, let's say in Utah. And let's say that there are people coming from other states now that are coming under the banner of a local non-for-profit. Correct me if I'm wrong, correct,
Yes,
Michelle?
yep.
Under a local non-for-profit that
Or
don't
civic
even reside in our
organization.
state, that are now going door to door inside of our town under that permitting process.
And we don't
Back-
do the
I think it was
background.
last year, maybe, did you bring up about one of the municipalities was having like stickers available to residents?
Village of Scotia,
Oh, the no soliciting.
no
stickers.
soliciting stickers.
Yeah, maybe we can add that into our code and make that a
Yes.
violation and then work on getting those stickers
Yeah.
available.
It's a registry that the residents would sign up for. They get a sticker to put on their door, someplace on their property. And, the solicitors are not allowed to go to that house.
And if they do, it would be a violation.
Yes.
So I think that since we're looking to make the changes, now would be a great time to implement that. That's,
Yeah.
I mean, I don't see the harm. in that
I
at all.
know, as long as it's, I think we have to have a discussion about where the sticker is. It's readily identifiable. Like
Right.
consistently.
Right,
in
it
the
has to
same
be
place.
seen, yes.
Yeah. I don't know if you want to speak about just the new dog bite cases or the,
So the two cases, actually, one's a dog bite, one is just a town ordinance violation with respect to, I believe it was unleashed chasing dog, but no dog bite. So those were the two new ones for August. I know that, I believe that there's one already pending currently for September. So that's that with respect to the additional cases related to dogs, and then I believe we have 84 pending trials
yes.
for bus patrol tickets, so violations of people who have driven past school buses. I think I have 16 or 19 scheduled for Monday. Trials. This is the second set of trials, and I think we have another date either at the end of September or beginning of October. Try to do like 30 a day or something like that. But we're literally just doing days of trials for people driving past school buses, and these are just the ones that are contesting it. That's not even touching on the number of people who have admitted fault and paid the money.
So, and I'll just say, because we're on film and to the public, the number one spot that this is happening, well, there's two spots, is Route 7. There's like 3 stops on Route 7 and then Bucktown. And I understand that if you're driving eastbound in the curb lane and there's a bus stopped headed westbound in the curb lane, that children more likely than not are not crossing Route 7 to go to the opposite side of the road. I respect that. However, it is the law. All lanes must stop, period. It has to happen. We put out some public information recently to remind folks. We've been working with the school district about this. It's not just us, but I cannot believe the amount of people that are not stopping on very heavily trafficked roadways for school buses with stop signs on it. So please stop. Chief Venna, did you have anything for the fire departments?
I don't at this point. So getting the lay of the land here.
Under the school district, we're still working on the school speed zones. I did have a conversation, I know Councilmember Brennan's gonna follow up with that, with our county legislator, Michelle Osterlich, about getting that sort of moving forward together for Rosendale Road on the county road. And they're gonna work on that. Under personnel, we're still canvassing. We have one position remaining open, to get us the full staff. Under that, I will just mention, because we're going into budgeting season, this year, we're gonna have, I believe, 5 people that are eligible for retirement, somewhere thereabouts. Yes. And so this canvassing and recruitment effort will continue, probably until I'm very old and gray, potentially. And it's just always going to be on because of the rate of folks that are eligible to retire and sort of that turnover in policing.
When are they eligible? This year?
During this year, different things. Yeah. Under other, I put the law enforcement tech grant LPR purchase. We did get a quote from Motorola. Again, this was grant money through DCGS that we applied for. So we were looking to put up at 3 different high traffic locations, all lanes of traffic at intersections. I'm not going to say publicly where they are because I don't want to tell people if we do put them up necessarily. LPRs. And the reason for that is because we are, and I've described it in the past, sort of this black hole in Niskuna where if you leave Schenectady and you go all the way to Troy, everything in between, there's not really any data being collected for crime analysis. So the Department of Criminal Justice Services, under government with support of Governor Hochul, I know, they put up this money to local municipalities because of the cost of these things, the maintenance costs, the purchase costs. We were lucky enough to get exactly what we asked for. For those 3 locations, and then to also have the 3 mobile units, which are going to be, we're going to, again, put those on trailers, speed trailers and things of that nature to be able to move those more regularly for what I just described, those 3 main locations and these 3 mobile units. We're looking at somewhere in the range of $161,965 because the 3 locations are fixed units. So they have to go through the permitting process with DOT. They have to tap into the power. There's a lot of permitting process to do this. And it is incredibly expensive, which is why they put out the grant money. That's under Motorola. Now, Motorola is a part, they have been vetted through Sourcewell. So their exact LPR technologies are covered under the Sourcewell contract, which is recognized by the town of Niskuna as if it was through OGS. Even so, just to do our due diligence, we're obtaining a quote through Flock, who is one of their one of the major players in these technologies. I had a quote, but when I called them, because it was, their quote that they gave us was about $100,000, and you just, for apples to apples comparison, Flock, you're leasing the equipment. Motorola, you own the equipment. And Motorola is what we use for our body worn camera systems and our vehicle camera systems. So there's a continuity of technology component to this, but Flock, you wouldn't own it. It's just simply a lease. When I called them and I explained to them one more time what we were asking for, because I didn't understand what they had given me in a quote, it was very clear to me that they had grossly underestimated what the cost was going to be. They were under the impression that they could put a singular camera at each of the 3 big locations. Like, for instance, let's say we put one on Route 7. One camera can't cover all lanes of traffic, right? It doesn't have that capability, generally speaking. So they're going back to the drawing board. We're having a meeting with actual site plans so they can give us a more accurate quote. And we'll see what they come back with, but I suspect it's going to be at or more than Motorola's quote. That's what I suspect. But again, it's leasing versus owning, which are 2 different things. And with that purchase price, it is all encompassing through Motorola of a warranty, 5-year warranty, maintenance free. The only thing that we would be responsible for as a municipality is the cellular data, which I'm told it's very low. We're working with AT&T FirstNet because that's what we use as our municipality for our cell phones to work through that process, and the power. And the power draw on LPRs is apparently next to nothing, which was surprising to me, but we're working on those things. So that's the current quote we have. I put it on as tentative as a resolution only because I really want to see what Flock comes back with and make sure that we're in the ballpark of what we need to be, even though Motorola is a vetted consortium purchase that is recognized by the through Sourcewell.
What was that number again?
Which for the overall
For
price,
Motorola?
161,965.
And that's for 3 fixed and 3 mobile.
Yes.
Okay.
So, well, when I say 3 fixed, it's multiple cameras.
But I mean,
at the
it's
fixed. Yes.
all 6
Locations.
locations.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Okay. I don't have anything beyond that. If anybody has anything else, like I said, I put on the surplus of firearms for resolution and the purchase of LPR technologies as tentative. I don't know that we're going to put on for resolution, but I just want everybody to start talking about it. I'm going to send it to you. Maybe you can have conversations with everybody else about it if they're not watching, just to see. But it's a big number, right? People, there's a shock and awe factor of 165, 965, or 161, 965. But again, this is why we want the grant, because that's how much this things cost to do. And I can give multiple instances of crimes being solved with LPR technologies out of the town list. So
Are we covered by the grant funds?
all of that money is grant money that we have sitting in a bank account. So yes.
Are you looking to put a dog permit?
Yeah, possibly, I don't know, that won't be on for this month, potentially, I would say that. Well, did you realize it on for the winter, is it?
Yes.
Okay, so it is more,
Before the end of the year.
okay,
And then what about? the
neither
public?
one will be,
That one's gonna call for public. Yeah, they-
we have to draft the local laws that call for a public hearing, so I would say they probably will be introduced next month.
Anything else? And if not, do I have a motion to adjourn? All those in favor? And with that, we're gonna adjourn at 4:11 PM. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. Oh, our next meeting is going to be October 3rd for anybody, at 3:30, same location.
Same time.
Same time.